amazing ancient temples discovered at Italy's Paestum Poseidonia region there are places in the world where history does not feel buried, it feels stacked. Layer upon layer of civilizations, each one building over the last, until the past is not gone at all, just sleeping beneath your feet. Paestum in southern Italy is one of those places. At first glance, it looks like a quiet archaeological park surrounded by fields and sea breeze. But then you see them. Massive stone temples rising out of the landscape, so well preserved they almost feel unreal. And here's the part that still surprises even experienced historians. These temples were not built by Romans. They were built by ancient Greeks, deep inside what is now Italy, in a city once known as Poseidonia. The question that immediately follows is simple but unsettling. How did one of the most powerful temple complexes of the ancient Greek world end up hidden in plain sight in Italy for centuries? Poseidonia and the forgotten Greek city in Italy long before it became Paestum. This land was home to a thriving Greek colony called Poseidonia. It was founded around the 6th century BC by settlers from Sybaris, one of the wealthiest cities of the ancient Greek world. Imagine a coastline where traders, sailors, and philosophers from across the Mediterranean once gathered. That is what Poseidonia represented. It was not a distant outpost. It was a fully functioning city, complete with political structures, religious life, and architectural ambition that rivaled anything back in mainland Greece. Over time, the city changed hands and became part of the Lucanian and later Roman world, eventually turning into Paestum. But unlike many ancient cities that were dismantled or rebuilt beyond recognition, Poseidonia left behind something extraordinary. Its temples survived, not as ruins buried deep underground, but as towering structures still standing in open air, as if time itself forgot to erase them. The first glimpse that stops you cold is difficult to describe the moment people first encounter the temples of Paestum. You are not eased into the discovery. There is no gradual reveal. One moment you are walking through fields, and the next, massive columns appear on the horizon. The scale is immediate. The silence is even more powerful. These structures do not whisper history. They project it. The Temple of Hera, the Temple of Neptune, and the so-called Basilica stand like sentinels from another world. Their columns are thick, slightly uneven, and deeply weathered, yet they remain astonishingly intact. Most ancient Greek temples exist as fragments. Here, entire frameworks still stand. That alone makes Paestum one of the most important archaeological sites in Europe. And yet, for many travelers, it remains a surprise they never expected to find in Italy. A mystery of preservation no one fully expects. One of the most fascinating questions about Paestum is not just who built it, but why it survived so well. Ancient cities usually disappear in layers of destruction, reuse, and rebuilding. Stones are taken for other construction, temples are converted into churches, earthquakes and time slowly erase what once stood. But Paestum was different. Part of its preservation came from environmental changes. The area gradually became less central to trade routes, meaning fewer people disturbed the site. Marshy conditions also helped protect parts of the ruins from large-scale destruction. Ironically, neglect became preservation. What was once a thriving city slowly slipped into obscurity, leaving its temples untouched while history moved elsewhere. That silence created something rare in archaeology. A Greek city preserved almost like a frozen moment in time. The temples that still defy expectations standing before the temples today one detail immediately stands out. The architecture feels both familiar and strange. The columns follow the Doric style, simple and powerful, yet their proportions seem almost exaggerated compared to later Greek architecture. There is a heaviness to them, a sense of raw strength, rather than refined elegance. This is where Paestum becomes especially important for historians. It preserves an early stage of Greek architectural evolution. These temples show how builders were still experimenting with proportions, structural balance, and visual impact. In other words, Paestum is not just a collection of temples, it is a textbook carved in stone, showing how one of the world's most influential architectural traditions began to take shape. And yet, even with all this knowledge, standing in front of them still feels overwhelming, because no amount of academic explanation fully prepares you for the scale of something built more than 2,000 years ago, still standing almost intact. A city where myth and reality overlap. Paestum also carries something less tangible, but deeply compelling. A sense of mythology embedded into its identity. The city was named after Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea. That alone hints at how closely ancient people tied their environment to divine forces. The temples themselves were not just buildings, they were physical expressions of belief, designed to connect human life with something larger and unseen. Walking through the ruins today, it is easy to forget how alive this place once was. Rituals would have taken place here. Offerings would have been made. Festivals would have filled these spaces with sound and movement. Now there is only wind passing through stone columns. Yet that contrast is what makes Paestum so powerful. It is not empty, it is paused. The Roman layer that changed everything eventually, Rome absorbed Poseidonia into its expanding territory, and the city became Paestum. But instead of erasing the Greek structures, the Romans often adapted them. They respected the scale and durability of the temples, even as they introduced their own cultural and architectural influences. This blending of civilizations adds another layer to the site. Paestum is not just Greek or Roman, it is both. A physical record of how cultures overlap, influence each other, and reshape identity over time. That complexity is part of why archaeologists continue to study it so closely. Every stone carries multiple historical voices. Even today, researchers still uncover new details about how the site evolved across centuries. Each discovery adds depth to a place that already feels impossibly rich with history. Why Paestum still feels underrated despite its importance. Paestum does not always receive the same attention as other famous ancient sites in Italy. There is no Colosseum-scale spectacle here, no dramatic amphitheater towering over a city center. Instead, there is openness, space, a landscape where ruins breathe, without crowds pressing in from every side. That quietness is part of its power. It allows visitors to experience ancient architecture without distraction. You can stand in front of a temple and actually hear the wind move through it. That simplicity creates a different kind of impact, one that feels personal rather than performative. And perhaps that is why those who do visit often describe it as not because it overwhelms you with spectacle, but because it lets you meet history in its purest form. The question that still echoes even after centuries of study, Paestum still raises a question that does not fully go away. How many other ancient cities like this still exist, hidden or forgotten, waiting for if a site of this scale and importance could remain so quietly preserved for so long, it forces a rethink of how much of ancient history is still out there, just beneath the surface of modern landscapes. Paestum is not just a set of temples, it is a reminder that history is not gone. It is layered, waiting, and sometimes closer than we think. If you enjoyed this journey through one of the most remarkable ancient sites in Italy, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves ancient history and lost civilizations. Because somewhere out there, another forgotten city is still waiting to be rediscovered.